Having sold nearly 50 million copies, Tekken is one of the most popular fighting game series in the industry. Spanning decades since its initial release in 1995, Tekken has hosted a colossal cast of characters, featuring martial arts masters that are familiar, larger than life, and even supernatural. Among such an expansive roster, however, there is one character who often stands out from the rest: Yoshimitsu. Yoshimitsu is a fan-favorite character who is often described as unique, silly, and unpredictable, and he is known for his elaborate costumes and acrobatic, theatrical displays. Yoshimitsu's costumes and movements, as outlandish as they may seem, actually have their roots in the storied traditions of Japanese performance, from no theater and kabuki to concepts like cybernetics and spirituality. In this video, I'll be analyzing the appearance and movement patterns of Yoshimitsu as I attempt to answer this central question. How does Yoshimitsu embody various aspects of Japanese performance? And how does the presence of these aspects influence player interaction within the game? For this video, I'll be looking at Yoshimitsu from both Tekken and Soul Calibur. For those who may not know, in the universe of these two Namco Bandai fighting game franchises, Yoshimitsu is actually a title that is passed down from one leader of the Manji clan of ninja warriors to the next. While they're technically not the same person, they all share nearly identical attributes that I think make for a valid comparison. We'll start with the aspect of the character that probably jumps out the most when a new player first sees Yoshimitsu: his appearance. I mean, look at this guy. What is he? A samurai? A robot? A zombie? Some kind of cyborg alien thing? What is he wearing? Is that his face? Or is this his face? What is going on? One of the signature features of Yoshimitsu's design is the mask he always wears. His true face has never been revealed and is constantly hidden behind one of countless masks, and often they evoke specific designs from the history of Japanese theater, namely No theater. No theater, as defined by theno.com, is a theatrical art form that has been handed down through generations and has been labeled as one of the world's oldest performing arts, incorporating drama, music, and dance elements. In No theater, masks are meant to communicate archetypes of characters to the audience. In both Tekken and Soul Calibur, Yoshimitsu's earliest masks were modeled after the well-known Hanya mask, which is said to symbolize a fusion of jealousy, grudge, sorrow, and grief of women. Yoshimitsu also has options to wear a Hakushiki-jo mask, an Okame mask, and a stylized version of the Kagekyo mask, all masks pertaining to No theater, Japanese folklore, and Japanese history. Along with his masks, Yoshimitsu's costumes include numerous references to Japanese myths and cultural symbols. One example is a specific customization in Tekken that evokes the Japanese folktale of Hoichi the Earless, a blind musician who, when tormented by malicious spirits, had been given protection when Buddhist monks painted the Heart Sutra all over his body. However, they had forgotten to cover his ears, and so his ears were ripped off by the ghosts that had been tormenting him. Yoshimitsu's costume, based off this myth, shows detailed inscriptions of the Heart Sutra all over his high-tech bodysuit, and a very modern-looking biwa is strapped to his back. This exact kind of juxtaposition of tradition with a modern presentation is precisely how the character Yoshimitsu connects to the tradition of storytelling within Japanese performance. Tales and legends are popular source material for all types of plays and dramas, and there are numerous examples of this throughout the character's various designs. These cultural references can also be seen in Soul Calibur, where one of Yoshimitsu's main costumes borrows elements from the traditional costume of a Yamabushi, or a mountain hermit that, according to Japanese spiritual beliefs, is said to have mystic powers. This use of symbols to evoke spiritual elements and themes can be found throughout Japanese theater history, as monks and spiritual entities are often characters featured in many No and Kabuki plays. Further, in wearing these elaborate costumes as opposed to something more practical, Yoshimitsu then makes each round he fights in itself a performance. In that respect, he is not simply a fighter, but a performer as well. And a large part of this performance focuses on another important aspect of Yoshimitsu's design: his cybernetic arm. Since very early on in the character's history, Yoshimitsu has been shown in both Tekken and Soul Calibur as having a cybernetic arm that allows him to spin his wrist at lightning speed and perform gravity-defying feats impossible for normal humans. The character is also depicted as wearing a technologically advanced and fully integrated battlesuit. Certain mini-games in Tekken allow the player to see a first-person perspective of each character, and with Yoshimitsu, the player sees a technical heads-up display with targeting systems and subtle cultural references. When surveyed, players often say that they view Yoshimitsu as a demon, a cyborg, or even an alien, and this ambiguity adds to the mystique of the character. The juxtaposition of traditional, spiritual, and non-human elements allows room for creativity in customizing the character's appearance, and that, in turn, allows the player to assign more of their own personality to the character they're playing as. So what does that mean for Yoshimitsu's movement? How is it connected to Japanese performance, and what does it do for the player? Right away, we can see that Yoshimitsu loves striking a pose, and what at first glance might seem like energetic outlandishness is actually directly related to the traditions of kabuki theater, a long-standing performance form that's name, according to kabuki21.com, stems from the word kabuku, which at one point literally meant to incline in a certain direction, but nowadays means to be attention-grabbing. In kabuki, actors make poses that are called mie, defined as self-contained dramatic poses that crystallize the action in a particular moment. And this connection to kabuki is often well known among players. When surveyed, many players describe Yoshimitsu's movements as eccentric, dance-like, and theatrical, placing an emphasis on his flamboyant and playful nature. While this connection can be quite obvious at times, the name of this move is literally kabuki, a deeper, more subtle connection can be made between Yoshimitsu's in-game movement patterns and no theater, which Japanese theater philosopher Suzuki Tadashi refers to as a creation of animal energy. When training actors, Suzuki focuses on the rhythmic feet-stomping and sliding steps found in no theater, called henbai and suriashi, respectively. Suzuki draws on the assertions of late Japanese anthropologist and poet Orikuchi Shinobu, who said that stomping on the stage signifies the treading down of evil spirits. It's through this physical connection of the feet with the ground, through sliding steps and rhythmic movement, Suzuki argues, that an actor is able to arouse the energy of the spirits in order to use it to activate human life. This specific spiritual concept can be found in the very way that Yoshimitsu moves across the fighting stage, sliding and stomping and using rhythmic motion to literally draw energy into his body, to heal himself, for example. Suzuki posits that these kinds of movements, prevalent in Japanese performance, allow one to become conscious of their own body, their connection to the earth, and make it possible to create a ritualistic space. This, he says, allows for the discovery of an inner physical sensibility, a profound memory innate to the human body, and, to the point, the ability to uncover this profound physical sensibility and give it full play. This brings us back again to the central question. How does Yoshimitsu embody various aspects of Japanese performance, and how does the presence of these aspects influence player interaction within the game? In my survey of more than 60 players, I found that overwhelmingly it was Yoshimitsu's uniqueness and the creative potential of his moveset that drew players to him the most, and I would argue that a large part of this uniqueness and memorability stems from his undeniable connection to traditional art forms, including No and Kabuki, the exploration of cybernetics and humanity, and the spiritual aspects of movement in Japanese performance. It is these elements that create a space for the player to unlock their creative potential, to find that sensibility, and give it full play. Okay, bye!